Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. And you can steer yourself any direction you choose. These are the opening words from a children's book called Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. And although it's a children's book, I didn't actually read this book until I was in my 20s when some dear friends gave it to me for one of my birthdays. And I love this book so much because it takes you on a journey through life, and it takes you on a journey through opening up what is possible. And as we know with life, it's not all the wins and the successes, but there's the slumps and the humps and the challenges as well. And at the end of the book, it talks about how you can move mountains. And I really love this philosophy, and I like to think that I live my life by it. And so I want to share with you guys today how to create the impossible. And I've got snippets of little stories from my life, and I hope that it's going to inspire you guys to open up the possibilities of what you believe you are capable of in your life and what you believe you are capable of creating in your life. So my first story is, my first impossible, is actually that I'm standing in front of you guys today. Public speaking, I'm like one of those people who would rather be burned alive than stand up in front of an audience. In fact, I was just so petrified and terrified of it. And in fact, I was even petrified of talking to anyone. I was the girl in the corner at events that was praying that no one would come and talk to me. I just had a massive fear of it. I even had a fear of calling up our local Italian friendly restaurant for takeaways. And it was so bad that, me and my husband would be driving on the way home going, oh, we should get pizza for dinner. And he was driving, and I made him pull over to call up for the pizza so that he could actually do it because I refused to do it. So today I stand in front of you. This is one of my impossibles, but not only that, I now have speaking as part of what I do. I see a great purpose in it of sharing our messages and kind of making the world a better place. I've done numerous podcast interviews, do online trainings, I've been on US radio shows, I've been on New Zealand TV, and I do public speaking now. It's not easy, I've got to say. Still got the nerves going on, but I'm up here and doing it. My next impossible is that I am a published author. And again, this kind of felt like the impossible for me. At school, I failed English at school. And in fact, in my last year of high school, I didn't even take it because my English teachers for my entire school life were very vocal in telling me how utterly crap I was at writing and English. And I never actually aspired to be a writer. It wasn't in my plans. But again, I saw a reason for it. I saw a purpose of what it could actually do. And I have a deep desire to help people, and I saw that that was a great way to do it. So fast forward to about 5 years ago, and I'm sitting on my computer, scrolling Facebook, and I see a competition from an Australian publisher. And basically you submit your beautiful draft manuscript for your book, and it's a global award, and they would pick one person to win a publishing deal with them. And the catch was, I saw this 3.5 weeks before this competition had its deadline, right? And I sat there giving myself a little chuckle going, oh, wouldn't it be nice to enter in that? And I mentioned it to my husband, and he's like, oh, you should do it. And I'm like, you are crazy. But there was this intuitive nudge that just went, you know what? What have you got to lose? It's 3.5 weeks. Just try it. See what happens. So for those 3.5 weeks, and just saying, I hadn't written like 0 words of my book. Nothing. Hadn't started it. There was none of it written. And during that time, not only did one of my children have a chronic stomach bug, but I had to sit down and I had to write this book. And 2 hours before the deadline, I submitted it into the Australian publisher and sat back and went, oh, well, that was fun. That was a fun ride, and waited. And a little while later, I got an email saying, congratulations, you have won. Thank you. So that is how my book, Gifts from the Darkness, got birthed. And but here's the thing, right? In life, you can choose the impossibles, the mountains you want to move. And those were 2 things that I really consciously went, I really want to create this and try and do it. And I did it. As we all know, life can be challenging, hard. We go through ups, we go through downs. And we can find ourselves facing insurmountable odds in our lives where we feel like it is impossible to get out of. So I want to share a few of those stories in my life as well. The first one is that as a teenager, I was chronically ill. I was in constant pain. I was in bed a lot. And I had a really poor quality of life. Things were not good. I ended up getting diagnosed with endometriosis. It was severe. In fact, my gynecologist said it was the worst case she's ever seen. I was in and out of hospital for years, surgery after surgery, hoping it would fix me, with no avail. And when I was 20, the doctor sat me down and said, this is your life. This is incurable, and you're going to go on like this for the rest of your life. And just to stab the dagger in my heart a little bit more, they told me you would never be able to have children. And that was my one dream as a person, to have children, ever since I was a little girl. And so this totally crushed me. And for a while, I lived that life. But I decided that I didn't want that to define me, and I decided I didn't want that to be my life. And so I stand before you today, the healthiest I've ever been. I am 100% cured of endometriosis. I have an amazing quality of life, and I'm the very proud mama of a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. Now, let's talk about money, right? Because money has got a whole lot of emotion to it. And when you are in that place of no money or faced with insurmountable debt, it can be a real challenge. You can feel like there's no hope and you can't get out. So one trusty night, myself and my husband, we had been sticking our head in the sand with our finances. Who can relate to that? Yeah. Sticking our heads in the sand. So one night we sat down and we said, let's get real and let's look at the figures. And we found that we were $250,000 of bad debt. That is not debt associated with any properties or any assets. It was pure bad debt. And I'm not going to go into the story of how we got there. It's juicy, but we don't have time for that. But the point is that we were in this place of just insurmountable odds. To top that off, just because I don't like doing things by halves, we had a 6-month-old baby, and I had postnatal depression. And so these are some of our darkest times where we were like, what are we going to do? We don't know how we're going to go on. We chose not to go down the bankruptcy path and take charge of our lives. And today we have money in the bank, savings in the bank. Our net worth is constantly growing, and money isn't a big issue for us. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to be. Now, the last story I want to tell you is probably the most impossible thing I've done in my life. I know those were good, but hold your seats because this is going to blow your mind. So I was born with cataracts, which is where the lens of your eye clouds over. And I was completely blind in my left eye, no sight whatsoever. In my right eye, I had very little sight in it. And so my childhood was a big struggle, right? And thankfully, when I was 11, my wonderful parents took a massive risk on me, and they invested in groundbreaking surgery to replace the lens in my eye, in my right eye. So I had this new world open up to me where I could actually see properly in one eye, which was amazing. But I still felt really broken. I still felt not good enough in this world. And I would have given anything to fix that left eye that was blind. In my 20s, I like to think I got wiser and came to some self-acceptance of myself. And I went on a massive journey with that. And I fully loved and accepted who I was. And then fast forward to about 4 years ago, I got this really strong intuitive nudge to go, heal your eye. I was coaching people at this point. I had obviously created a whole lot of amazing things, and I was like, no, I love myself, I'm amazing, I don't need that. But the nudges keep coming. And so I have a belief, when those nudges come, you follow them. You follow them and you commit. And after just 3 weeks of using my tools that I use with my clients and myself, I started getting sight in my left blind eye that had never ever seen in its life. 34 years of being blind, and I started getting sight. After a couple of months, I started seeing, I could read text, like big text, not like a book. And I could do things. I could cook dinner. If I covered up my right eye, I could actually fully cook dinner and work with my left eye. So what is possible for you guys, right? I want to share 3 of probably the most significant things that helped me to create this. There's a lot that goes on, but 3 things that I really feel passionate about is, number 1, working on your inner game, what I call your inner game, which is all about your inner world. What is going on in there? Your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories, your trauma, your experiences, how they shape you, and the meanings that you give to them. Shifting that stuff, healing that. It's amazing. It is undeniably one of my passions that I love teaching about, and it can completely change your life and open up what is possible for you. Number 2 is taking action. Action is important. I would love to sit there on a beach meditating and bringing things to me. And although you can do that and that has a beautiful effect, action is really, really powerful. So whatever it is that you want to create in your life, take action, even if it's 1 step at a time. Small steps over time creates really big actions. And the 3rd thing is a really powerful tool that I'd love to share with you guys. And it's called quality questions. And these have completely changed my life. So what we do in life generally is we go around asking really unempowering questions. Have you noticed? Why am I so stupid? Why am I a loser? Why did I stuff up again? Why am I no good with money? These questions disempower you, and they are actually creating the reality moving forward. So I'm going to encourage you guys and invite you guys to start asking quality questions. How can I do this? How is this possible? If it was possible, how could I do it? What would it take for me to make an extra $5,000 this month? What would it take for me to improve my health? What would it take for me to improve my sex life? Where's Hester? Right? Questions are so powerful, and we underestimate them, the power of them in our lives. So I encourage you guys to Ask yourselves quality questions. I want to leave you all today and say to each and every one of you, you're more capable than you give yourself credit for. And I want to encourage you to move your own mountains, whether that is going and living the simple life in the country and growing vegetables, or whether it's going out and being the next Oprah and helping the world. It's going to be different for every one of you. There is no right or wrong, but go out and move your mountains, guys. Thank you.